In honor of all the bigots in my comments that keep saying things like, gosh, your generation's so sensitive, can't believe all this mental health crap, get a grip, I am going to tell you a little history on how neurodivergent people have been treated. You see, back in ye olden days, if your child was showing some kind of different behaviors in terms of like maybe having a hyperfixation or being, having difficulty focusing on things, maybe just being a little more creative than usual, and you didn't like it, you could argue that your child had been replaced by a fairy. Now, this fairy child thing was mostly used in the Northern Europe area, but other cultures had their own versions of it. And what they would do is that they would take this 4-year-old, 5-year-old child, go out to the forest, drop him in the middle of the forest, and then go back home, hoping that their real child would come back. But that was their real child. There was no fairy. They were just autistic, and now that child died of exposure. And I know what you're thinking. He said ye olden days. That means it must have been like in the 1600s. That can't possibly have been any time recently. There are reports of this happening up until the earliest 20th century. But in the 1850s, while people were still doing this, even later than that, they started discovering, hey, maybe these people aren't fairies. They're just neurodivergent. They've got, autism and ADHD or other stuff like that, schizophrenia. These guys are still humans. And you would think that maybe understanding that, hey, these are still humans would mean that they were maybe treated a little better. Oh, buddy, you're so wrong. You see, instead, they created sanitariums where they would basically send anyone who is different, anyone with any kind of mental disorder like autism or ADHD or schizophrenia or whatever was sent there. Anyone who had physical disabilities, like they were in a wheelchair or they were blind or whatever, they were sent there too. And the families would just forget about it. And then they would allow their children or their family members to be experimented on. If you didn't behave or didn't miraculously get healed of your mental disorder, they would hook you up and give you electroshock therapy where they zapped your brain. Or if they needed to do the Hail Mary, or I guess wanted to do it, they would stab your brain and destroy your frontal lobe, turning you into essentially a zombie. And this kind of stuff happened up to the 1980s, and it's still kind of happening today. Ask anyone who's been to a mental hospital what they've seen there. It will shock you. But nowadays we have advocates and we have education, and I think that's way better than anything that they had back then. Like, subscribe, and follow for more.